Welcome back to TenTenths Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Breout, and I am sitting in the Kanga Motorsports studio, and I have Adam on Zoom, and we are both wearing our Petrobox. Well, I guess this isn't technically a Petrobox shirt, but this is a shirt I got in my Petrobox.
Is it not a Petrobox shirt?
I don't know. Is it? I thought it was. I thought it was a different company.
It definitely came from Petrobox.
Yeah, that's all that matters. It's a Petrobox shirt.
Right. Mine's sporting it right on the front, though.
Yeah.
I like this one. It's like the Champion Spark Plugs logo. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that one too.
I don't know why, but I think it's funny.
I like this one. It's got a helmet, and then it's got all these Formula One drivers' names, like Hamilton and Fangio and Vettel,
Senna.
Schumacher. Yeah, you know the expected names, but it's cool. So I've worn it a couple times already. But
completely off topic. Not really.
This whole
topic,
show
but
is
semi-Formula One related. Before we dive into other things, I got in a small argument with a coworker because he tried to tell me that racing is not an athletic required sport.
What an idiot! Did you tell him? Did you tell him he's an idiot to his face?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Be aggressive about it.
I said, let's go to the go-kart track.
Yeah.
Literally like 8 blocks away from the place I work at. And then we're going to run 2 back-to-back sessions. And you're going to get out of that cart and you're going to tell me that was not a physical thing. Bullshit.
Did he back you up on it or no?
He's like, oh, let's do it sometime. But I already know where that's going to go.
Yeah. It's
anyway.
It's mind-blowing that people actually think that. Believe it.
Yeah.
That granted, the NASCAR drivers don't really fit the athletic profile.
That's not even really true anymore.
True.
Like the ones that are winning?
The Tony Stewarts aren't really the faces anymore. It's
right.
The skinny guys, like the guys that look like me.
Right.
What's his name?
I don't know.
Joey Logano. See, now everyone's going,
yes.
He does look like Joey Logano. Right here, Joey Logano.
Yeah. He's in shape.
Someone did that at the SCCA annual banquet. As soon as I started giving the TT yearly wrap-up, whatever, speech or whatever.
Right.
Someone starts commenting on the Zoom, hey, it's Joey Logano. Fuck. I didn't think that was a thing until someone at work said it, and then now apparently everyone thinks that I look like Joey Logano.
I mean, there's going to be worse things you can be compared to, I guess.
He's a successful race car driver, so I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. But no, I saw this article today about what Lewis Hamilton has to do. And it was kind of posed as a question, like, would you be willing to do this to be in his spot? And it said that he, on top of his insane tailored diet that he lives, because I think he's also vegan.
He's vegan, which makes it 10 times harder.
Which makes it really hard. But I mean, that's chosen on his own, but it is what it is, whatever. But he has 6 hours a day he spends in the gym.
Yes.
That's insane.
It's Formula One is about as physical as it gets. Like watching Lando and tall guy, new guy. Jabuni's gonna crucify me because I'm blanking on his name right now.
I can't think of it either. I know who you're talking about.
Williams, whatever.
Yeah.
God, so many people are screaming at their phones right now. But anyways, but they're doing the band thing where they're stretching their head on their and they're working their neck out.
Yeah.
That would cripple all of us.
Dude, you have to have such a strong
humans.
neck.
Yes, 6 G, like almost 6 Gs in a corner. Fucking insane.
Well, I remember they were talking about Lewis Hamilton was saying, I think 2 years ago, at a specific race, he was having tears hit the inside of his visor under braking.
That is so much.
Because there was so much G-force under braking that it was pulling tears out of his tear ducts and hitting his helmet visor.
Yeah, it's an unbelievable amount of force. Last year when they were at, I think it was Imola, where they were hitting 5 Gs in a high speed corner. It's like that's just you can't fathom that type of force.
No, not really.
But then Nico Hulkenberg was talking about how he was having a hard time because he'd lost that type of neck muscles, so he didn't have a chance to actually build them all the way back up before his first race. So he's sitting there like cockeyed, holding his neck with his shoulder. That would be very challenging.
I was listening to Dinner with Racers, and they did a show with a kid by the name of Zach Veach, who was an IndyCar driver. He's not anymore. He kind of left his seat, lost his seat, little kind of both. But he's a real small guy. Like, from the sounds of it, was like 110 pounds soaking wet type of deal. And real short, like 5'4" or something like that. And he was talking about how apparently Indy cars don't have power steering.
Yes, they don't.
Which is crazy to me.
Well, they're going so fast. What do you need it for? 200 miles an hour, you don't need steering.
Because they make like 1 billion pounds of downforce at 200 miles an hour.
It's fine. It's a light car.
That's a lot of heavy steering.
Yes, it is.
And he said flat out, like it's one of my biggest downfalls is that I can't manhandle these cars through corners like the bigger guys can.
Yeah, I believe that.
I just don't have the strength to do it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's an optimal size, like weight and arm strength, and
just like anything else.
Yeah, like jockey, you want to be as small as possible.
When Michael Phelps was big,
yep.
Like I remember seeing some article about how like he's just the perfect size to be fast, and like he has some rare thing where his toes and fingers have a little bit more webbing than most people, and like that gives him that much extra pull and just like weird shit.
Well, plus his fingers are like 33 inches long, so it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and so I mean, he was literally born to be fast in a pool.
Yep. Well, yeah, so, I mean, like Lando Norris. Have you seen how tall he is? He's not tall. Like
no, they got to be like jockeys.
Yes. And then Daniel Ricciardo George Russell, that's his name. George Russell, they're both tall, and then Ricciardo he's not a big guy, but he has what they call wide hips, so he has a hard time fitting in the cars. So it's just crazy that someone that's very in shape and really not freakishly tall is considered too tall and too wide.
What? Who was it that replaced Lewis in one of the races?
George Russell.
He was too tall to fit in that car, and his
legs are too long.
It was like way uncomfortable for him.
He had to wear a size smaller shoe.
Yeah, just so it would fit.
Yes.
Can you imagine how much like faster he probably could have been if he was comfortable?
Yeah, because he wasn't fast enough being out in front.
Well, I mean,
God,
just shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, he's definitely the future, and Booney will hold that over my head for saying that.
I got a nickname you can call him to really shut that down if you want, but we'll leave it alone.
Hell no. Not saying that ever. You can say it.
It's funny though.
As you can tell, I'm super excited for the Formula One season. Not as excited as I normally am because I'm more excited for the IMSA season. But
oh really?
Oh yeah, Daytona.
Oh, it's interesting to me.
Daytona ruined racing for me this year.
Oh yeah,
because I've basically been Formula One. Not like that's I schedule it. I spend my time watching Formula One. Like when it's live, I watch it. Assuming I'm not at a race weekend. For the last 3 or 4 years, that's what I've done. I've watched Formula One, watched Drive to Survive, schedule it for races, and then I've kind of watched IMSA in the last couple of years. I've really started to kind of do the same thing for endurance racing because that's obviously where I want to end up going. With my racing, it's endurance racing, but. So I sat down and spent, it was at least 6 hours of my time where I was focused on watching the Daytona 24 hours this year. And it didn't matter what time I turned the TV on, whether it was right at the beginning of the race at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 10 p.m., 2 a.m., 7 a.m., right at the end of the race. Didn't matter. It was the best racing I've watched competitively in a long time.
Endurance racing is wild to me, man.
It is so close. And
because those people are racing
for 24 straight hours.
Yeah.
And then you're weaving
lap after lap after lap.
Then you have the faster cars weaving between the slower cars because there's multiple classes. And then shit happens because people are tired. And there's, guys that are paying to be there that aren't pro drivers. I mean, granted, they're very talented drivers. But, mistakes are being made. So people bump into each other. And then it's well, that's racing, and they go about their business. It's not like these ridiculous penalties. I mean, there are penalties, of course, but it's not like Formula One. And then I've grown to hate the DRS system with a passion, because as soon as someone catches somebody, they just push a button and they pass them. And I get so bored with that. And there's none of that shit in IMSA. It's so good.
Nope.
So good. I'll get off my soapbox about how much I love IMSA more than Formula One.
I didn't know this about you, though. I'm glad to know that.
Yep.
I will tailor the news accordingly.
Perfect. I'm hoping I offend a lot of people. We can argue the merits of Formula One versus.
Fuck it. Sports car racing is so much more interesting.
100%.
So I'll have to dig up. I have like a couple of races that are from way back in the day that you should watch. I'll dig them up.
I'm down. Yeah, I'd be happy to watch them.
I remember there's one where there's a guy in a Sin R1. We talked about this on the show like a billion years ago. There's a guy in a Sin R1, and he stalled it on the standing start and it ended up in the back and passed. He was on pole and passed everybody in the race and still fucking won it.
So good.
It's such a cool thing to watch.
Yeah.
Is he really doing this?
Yeah, like hard charging.
No way. There's no way. Holy shit, he's doing this.
Well, even this year at the Daytona 24, they I can't remember what car it was. Basically started the race like an iRacing race and like just spun it and slammed into a bunch of other cars, and that's how they started the race. I would be livid if I was a car behind him.
Yeah.
But he just kept going. Anyways.
I'm excited to watch some close racing this weekend, Robbie.
Yes. Are you sure? How close of racing is it going to be? I guess it's Gltc. It'll be close.
Yeah.
It'll be good.
I guess all the heavy hitters are coming.
So not me. I won't be there.
So we have it on good authority that the heavy hitters are coming, and they're doing it in a private jet.
So Jabay is going to be there.
Jabay is going to be there. I assume that means that like Catil and Lichty and those guys are all going to be there.
Yeah.
I know the Kellys are still deep in the throes of trying to swap their engines this year, so their cars won't be there. But a bunch of the other big name GLTC drivers should be there.
Yep.
So
I saw Catil had his loaded up or was getting loaded up. I think today, Wednesday. Then I can't think of his last name. I think it's Brian that's driving the Chris Forsberg built car. I think they're going to be there. At least that's what his Instagram made it look like.
Okay, I wasn't sure if that car was going to make it or not.
They were on the dyno yesterday, and it looks like it's ready to go. So it looks like they've been scrambling the last probably week and a half to get it ready.
Is that car like Nissan backed?
I don't know officially, but it sure looks like they have a lot of sponsors.
Isn't he a Nissan driver?
Yeah, I think so.
That shit's cray.
Yeah, because the whole body's like Sebin carbon everything.
Those are like real, hot, like professional drivers.
Yes,
that's crazy.
So yeah, it's a big deal for a little club racing thing.
Yeah, a lot of eyes on the prize here, so it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see it. Hang out with Jabay, hang out with some of my other buddies. Life seems to be making one hell of a showing this year. They're bringing 2 cars. Excited. Ferris has cranked up a car that frankly was already all the way up to 11, and now it's at like 35. I don't know. That car is going to be insane. It's going to be a weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be...
They're probably all going to go out and break on the first flyer, not even put in timed laps. It's going to suck.
No, that's not going to happen. They're going to break records.
If I talk about it that way, it'll be better, Robbie.
By the way, his name is Dylan Hughes. I don't know where I got Brian from.
Okay.
Dylan Hughes is the driver of the Sebin carbon fiber 370Z that Forsberg built. It's a beautiful car.
Dusty's going with his camera in hand. So you guys can look forward to that. I am going with Iowa man himself, so I'll probably have stories.
Yes.
There probably won't be that much because, what are we going to do,
Well, he's not driving and has nothing better to do. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, yeah, but we're not going to – he's not going to be drinking at the track.
And E-Man's not there to encourage him.
Right.
So, it'll probably be okay. Who's all going down with you?
Me, Josh Fettis, Ryan Seiler, and Dalton.
Yeah, he should be okay. You guys can handle that.
Ryan could put back a beer or two.
Yeah, but he's always in control.
He's super chill about it. So
I don't worry about. We don't worry about that guy.
No, not at all. So, but yeah. Should we do the opener?
Yeah. Well, I guess before we get there,
we're at least 15 minutes in, so it's time to open it up, right?
So first, before we get there, I want to say that everyone should go to kangamotorsports.com. I wrote an article, and we'll talk about that later. But the first thing up there is refinishing a carbon fiber wing by yours truly. And then also, if you are a Datsun fan, he's doing a much in-depth build of his, or a log of his build on his Datsun 240Z. And then he also has a section that's specifically for the Datsun. He's got a torque spec section now. So he's been adding more stuff to his website. So kangamotorsports.com. Check that out.
Yeah. The opener brought to you by everybody's favorite person.
Except you, of course.
Oh, I like him. We get along.
I know, but your fake feud is my favorite.
I don't even know where this all started.
I think you were talking shit on the show, and then he called you out.
I don't think I was talking shit directly to him, though.
I have no idea.
I think he just took it personally.
It's because you said all the food that he likes is bad.
Well, it's because it is.
See, now we started it all up again. Factfabrication.com. I've been spending a lot of time there. We'll talk about that.
Too much time, frankly.
No, not enough.
I was working nearby there like a week or two ago. I thought about stopping in, but I didn't have the time, so whatever. Anyway, speaking of, Mr. Booney himself sent me a picture here a while back. A picture that made him think of me, apparently. I'm so touched. There was a Dodge Omni of all things that apparently at some point was ran by the Iowa State Patrol.
So it's a white Dodge Omni with Iowa State Patrol logo.
I think
it
might
side.
actually be tan. It's just that picture is really
the whole picture is tan.
Yeah, I know. But I think the car is probably tan.
No, it's white. White as the snow, man. It's white as the snow.
It might be white. I don't know. It's hard to say.
And it's got a huge light bar on top,
which is hilarious.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah, it's gigantic. And it just says Iowa State Patrol inside. As far as I can tell, it is not a turbo model because they had most of them, I think at least, had some like vent work on the top of the hood where the intercooler sat.
Okay,
because they were kind of like top side mount intercoolers,
right?
And this one does not have that, so I think it's just a base and a Omni. I don't think it's anything like. I don't think it was one of their pursuit cars. I think it was just like some sort of runabout. Right?
This one's probably not catching a lot of fast cars.
No, definitely not. The turbo one would have definitely held on to its own in the day for sure, but not so much the naturally aspirated ones.
No.
Even like my GLH package, which was still NA, but was hopped up, was okay, but I don't know. And it's hard to say if that maybe this is like an 84 GLH, which would look like a base model. It doesn't have any of the ground effects kits that the later GLHTs had. It doesn't look like anything. So I don't know. Maybe it is a GLH. Maybe it's an 84 GLH. I can't really tell. I just thought it was kind of cool. Something strange. He had zero background information on it, and I tried to Google it and got nowhere, which made me kind of sad because I wanted to, did they have a whole fleet of these things, or is it a one-off? Like, what's the story? I don't know.
Yeah, is this like the Dare anti-drug car, where it's like you had like one special car?
But usually when they do that, it's cool, something cool.
Yeah, like a Dodge Omni, obviously.
Like a turbo Omni, sure. But not like a everyday run of the, because you got to remember, dude, this was just like the Dodge Dart of the day. It was
everybody
nothing
had
special.
Them.
Yeah. Well, then it wouldn't be the Dodge Dart because nobody bought those.
Oh, it'd be like the Pontiac Grand Prix of the day.
Of the mid 2000s?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah, everybody had those.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Or they at least knew somebody that had one.
Yeah.
What's weird to me is that it has like the state patrol stuff on it, but it doesn't have like the keep the criminals away from you cage.
The cage.
Yeah.
That's why I think it was more of like an administrator runabout.
Like a detective?
No, like, I don't know, somebody who like maybe goes from Iowa State Patrol shop to shop, like doing training and safety seminars and HR BS that nobody actually cares about, but we have to pretend like we do. Like I'm sure they have like annual training shit that they have to do and things like that. Maybe that was what this was.
But why do they have the light bar? That's what's
because why not? I mean, I'm a police. I get the light bar.
I guess that's fair. Plus, yeah, if you want to get a place in a hurry, you just turn the lights on.
Or maybe it was like a guy who, like an emergency response guy. He just went out when like there was giant accidents or something. I don't know.
I don't know how the state patrol works.
I don't either. But when I was doing the Googling, the only thing I could really find, or most of what it led me to, because I was trying to like, maybe this was like a thing in more states or whatever. So I was trying to open it up be a little more broad. But the only thing I could find was mostly like people talking about Fox body. So apparently California Highway Patrol used Fox bodies for quite a while, Mustangs, back in the day. And like, I know nowadays those have kind of become like a sought after collectible bit of the Fox body lore, if you will. So that was kind of, I mean, it's kind of a cool little thing, but that was, I didn't really get anywhere besides that. So
that's too bad. It'd be kind of interesting to see what the story is behind it, as why an Omni of all vehicles.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to like do a special car, you'd think like a Camaro or Trans Am or something.
Right. Or like, even if you're like, well, it's nice to have the 4 doors and the hatch and the space. So then like, okay, so buy a turbo car.
Yeah.
If you're going to make something like some sort of promotional dare site type of vehicle out of it. So I don't know. Weird. Cool.
Odd. Definitely odd.
Funny. I find it funny. So that's it though.
Yeah. So that was Booney's contribution to the show, factoryfabrication.com. If you need custom, basically anything out of metal or wood for your house or your business, he does custom railings and furniture. I don't think people really realize the custom furniture aspect of this. You get stools and chairs and tables and benches and furniture, really. I mean, you can make a table, I guess.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, whatever the hell you want, man. If you want something really cool and modern, just head over to factoryfabrication.com and be like, hey, Booney, the podcast boys sent me. I want this bitchin' chair. He'll know what you mean.
There you go. Right, well, let's talk about all the things that you're doing with your life.
Oh, God. Lots of
car-related things.
Oh. Thought we were talking about other way better stuff.
Speaking of things we've done with our lives, it was a beautiful 60 degrees out today. It was gorgeous. The sun was shining. The air smelled like warm root beer. It was fantastic, right? Most of the snow has gone away. And you know what I really was like wanting to do today?
What?
Rollerblade.
Dude, I've wanted to skate so bad for like the longest time.
So bad.
I have complained to anyone that will listen in the last probably like month or two. Yeah. I am so sick of cars. It's such a stupid hobby. It's so expensive. It's so expensive.
Remember when we used to think that rollerblading was expensive?
I said this verbatim to Booney yesterday. I was like, I remember when I was in college and younger thinking, man, how do people afford $1,000 skates every year or twice a year? And now I'm like, you know what I would do for a hobby that only costs $2,000 a year? That'd be
travel expenses and stuff.
That'd be the best. The best hobbies. Or maybe no hobbies. Let's just do no hobbies. That'd be the best hobby.
Sometimes I think about that. Like I think about, so I think about like how much money I make. Or even like how much money other people make.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't really have that much disposable income. But like people who I know like do, but they have zero hobbies.
Yeah.
Like, what's that like?
It's-
They must have so much money.
Yes. Like their
They
bank
don't do
account has
anything
to be
with it.
just baller.
They just don't do anything with it.
They travel. They could travel. That'd be
But
cool.
I don't think they do, Robbie.
They just retire early.
I don't even think they do that. That sounds terrible.
Retiring early?
No, living that life where you're just like, I don't do anything. Like I just go home, I sit on the couch and I watch reruns of some terrible TV show.
I do that too, but I try to squeeze that in.
But like that's all they've got.
Yeah, that would be weird. It is weird to me not have people that don't have an all-consuming hobby. Because I mean, like obviously,
I mean, there's even like like I get some people really are into whatever ball sport, right? Football,
Sure,
basketball, hockey, mixtures thereof. But like even that isn't nearly as all-consuming as cars are.
no. We have an audience of people willing to bankrupt themselves to go to the track. Myself included.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
wild.
It's
man.
absolutely insane. Like I remember.
I wouldn't trade it.
No,
Like
I mean,
I know I talk mad shit about it every once in a while. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, I this is all the choice. I mean, I could walk away anytime, and I refuse to. I just buy another fucking car. And I'm
Right.
finally caught up on this car. My bank account's looking okay. My checking account, that's okay. My credit cards are all caught up. We're good. What should I do? Buy another fucking car.
Hell yeah! Start a racing team.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Buy an RV. That's your next step, Robbie.
An RV would be cool. But yeah, I don't know what it would be like because even when I didn't have any money and was in college and stuff, skating was still pretty all consuming. So I mean, I've always kind of had I've always had something that was like, what are you doing with your free time? I'm doing this. I have no free time. If I'm not doing something to better
we
this,
did it like 7 days a week, weather permitting.
Until I couldn't like walk or I was like legitimately injured.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I take that same attitude towards like I guess I'm gonna keep saying racing, even though it's just like all cars in general.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, even this winter, it's been like I used to go to the gym every day after work. This year I don't do that, because of the Rona. But I'll try to fit a workout in. But if it's not, my first priority is one, I need to get the cars ready. So if I have something to do on the cars, I do that. So if I don't have anything to do on the cars, then I try to jump in the sim because I want to work on any sort of familiarity with racing, whether it's on the sim or whatever. And then if I don't feel like doing that, then I do a workout. But in my mind, it's like, if I'm not doing something that's improving my racing in one way, shape, or another, I'm wasting my time. So I've always, it's just, I got to do something. See, all consuming.
Yeah. It's silly.
Yep.
But I love it.
But anyways, so what I've been doing with my time when I'm not dreaming about skating and simpler times. I bought a carbon fiber wang and I fixed it. So
this is like this isn't your knockoff eBay Ricer carbon fiber splitter of past.
No, and I bought one of those years ago for the 240, and then obviously got rid of it, and then bought a 9 Lives for that, and then I've been kind of thinking about what I want to do with the Z because I was looking at 9 Lives obviously as a place to start, and I just was like, oh god, I really don't want to, don't want to spend that kind of money to have 2 9 Lives wings. So I was like, well, maybe I could find something for the 240. I could take the 9 Lives one and repurpose it for the Z. That was an option. And then I came across this post on the 240SX group, and I was just like, I don't go on Facebook, so every once in a while I'll sit down, scroll through, go through Marketplace, and then I'll put it away. Well, this one just happened to pop up, and it was on the 240SX parts trader, and it was a picture of a guy's snow-covered S13 with the wing on, and then the title was Hot Boy Wing. I'm like, okay, I'll check it out. And then the details were, and I quote, "Want all the chicks? This is all you need. Hardware not included." That's it. So he's clearly like making fun of it, and he wanted $175 for it. So I click on it and I scroll through. I'm like, wait a second. Wait a damn second. That's an authentic APR GTC 200. And I'm looking online. I'm like, yep, that's the SCCA spec wing. That's a legitimate, $1,000 APR wing.
Yeah.
So I messaged him and I was like, hey man, what's your best price ship to Iowa? Because he's in New York. And he goes, well, I got to at least get 130 on it. I'm like, okay, whatever shipping costs, we'll do it. Just go. So he goes and gets it figured out. And then he goes and he because like I know what it is. I don't exactly know if it's the old version or the new version, because it's like the old version is 95 or 59 and a half inches long. The new version is like 61 inches long. I don't know what the widths are for the base. I just know that ballpark, it kind of looks like it's the same width as the Z, which is like right at 40 inches. And lucky enough, that's exactly what it was. Which, trust that eye, man. I feel really good about that. I looked at it going, well, the S13 hatch is roughly, I think it was like 53 inches wide. And I'm like, that looks to be about, like 6 inches on either side. Like, it's got to be pretty close to where I got the Z's mounts at, right? About 40 inches.
That's what I like to call the calibrated measuring eye.
And it was almost dead on. They're like the way Josh had the Z's support structure. He has the wing mounts like built into off the cage, then goes through the hatch.
Yeah,
those are spaced almost exactly 40 inches apart, and the wing is spaced 40 inches apart. So I'm gonna have to do, because they're at an angle, and I got to do some stuff with the mounts. But either way, couldn't have been more dead on. But then he goes and tries to get it. Like he packages it up, he like basically wraps it in plastic and cardboard, and then brings it into FedEx, which of course is like the worst place to go because it's the most expensive. And they're like, yeah, the best we can do is like some absurd amount of money, like $100 and some odd dollars. I was like, that seems high. And he goes, and he goes down to the post office, and they're like, it'll be 166 because it's slightly like right at the limit. So I'm sitting there playing on the USPS website, like the calculator, like doing it in my head, like, okay, well, if he's roughly, let's just say 71 inches long by 8 inches wide by 6 inches deep, it should only be $60. I was like, why is it 166? I kept playing with the calculator. He was like 3 square inches away from being the tipping point between 60 and 166. So, like, dude, if you go home and, like, make it shorter or something, just make it a little bit shorter, it's $60. And he did it. I was so happy. And then sure enough, he went back the next day. It was just $60 to ship it, which is still absurd because it weighs like 3 pounds. But then it gets here, and it's in as rough a shape as I would have expected it to be. And I got it. So this is that article I was talking about. If you go to kangamotorsports.com, refinishing a carbon fiber hood or wing. So it is basically all of the clear coat is gone. There's a little bit left on the edges, like on the top, but the entire surface of the wing is completely just gone. It's bare carbon at this point, and it is completely faded, horrible looking. And I knew this going into it, but I figured, you know what? If I can get this wing for right around $200, I'll feel okay with just painting it if I have to. And I get it, and I send pictures to Josh LaPetre. I'm like, dude, do you think I can fix this? I don't know, man. It looks pretty awful. And I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And then I basically just started sanding on it with 400 grit, and it was taking forever, and I dropped it down to 320 grit, which is, I'll admit, quite aggressive for when you're just trying to take the clear coat off. But it cleaned up really nice for being something that clearly sat outside for the last 10 years. And I was able to take the whole top coat off, cleaned it up with 400 grit. And then I just used an automotive grade clear coat, like Spray Max makes a can that's
like in a can.
yeah. So like if you go to a hardware store, you get a $5 can. It's a single stage. You just spray it on. So the Spray Max has a can with like an activator that it's like a two-part hardener, regular. I don't know how you want to describe the materials.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
But basically what you do is you take the cap off and you take the part of the cap and you press it in the bottom, and it like forces a pin to pop the hardener in with the other paint, I guess, clear coat. But yeah, then you shake it up for like 2 minutes, and then it works like an automotive grade clear coat. And it was $25 a can. So it's
I mean, that's worth trying.
Yeah, and I was looking it up because I was like, well, I'd like to actually get it, automotive sprayed if I could. I got, it wouldn't be the worst investment to get a paint gun, and because I do like painting. But I looked into this and I came across this one, and people were saying, if you're going to do something like this, for $25, this is absolutely the best way to go. So I was like, well, okay, I'll get it off Amazon. I'll try it. And it showed up, and I had it all prepped. The delivery guy showed up. I took it from the box, threw the box away, and just started spraying. Like within 5 minutes of the thing showing up, because I had it just prepped and ready to go. And if you go to the KingMotorsports.com website, you can see the picture of it when it's done. It looks almost brand new in some spots. Obviously, there's still like some flaws and voids because it's been clearly abused for 10 years. But all things considered, it's about as good as I could ever ask for.
It does look really good. Like, it looks way better than you started out with, for sure.
Yeah. And
I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, for the and the voids that are there are just minor. But I basically had to sand all the way through the clear coat and probably take a small layer of the actual carbon off before I was able to clean it up. And I knew that going in that it wasn't going to be perfect, but I'm more than happy with it. And of course, I'm hanging it upside down, spraying it in my shop, and then the clear coat you have to spray on wet. Like, you can't just like spray it on light like you can paint, otherwise it'll get hazy. So I basically did it in 2 quick coats, and of course I ran it in a couple spots. Like, just they're not a big deal, but I know they're there, and it bothers me. But luckily, I had it upside down.
I know how that goes.
I had it upside.
That's the Robbie Veer hat we know and love.
Yeah, I know. Because I had it upside down, it actually ran into where the gurney flap gets attached to it. So I'm just not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna cover the gurney flap.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, see, no problem. Oh, and then it's it's automotive grade, so I could actually sand it and polish it, and it's fine. But I didn't want to just leave it at that, because like the end plates were actually kind of small. But so I took the 9 Lives one. I ordered 2 millimeter carbon fiber plate, like just get like 2 feet of it by like 8 inches of it. Then I just set my 9 Lives on it and traced it on there, the CFD end plates that they send out, and then I just cut it out with a jigsaw. No, I got these big ass end plates on my APR, and they only cost me like $20.
Cool.
Or $30 or whatever. So yeah, I just got to finish making the brackets. I ordered just some universal mounts, and then I'm going to take the APR mounts and then just attach them at the top. And once I'm done with the Z, I'll get it back home and knock that out. But I'm super, super happy with it. So yeah, if you buy a bargain basement priced wing that looks like shit, you can make it pretty again.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that all it took was some sanding. Like, that seems. That wing, most people would have just thrown away.
And I think that's what that guy was doing in his post too. He's looking at it like the pictures he took. He clearly didn't give a shit. Like, he barely wiped the snow off of it. And like,
right.
I don't think he thought I was serious when I said, package that up right now. Go to the post office today. I will send you the money.
Yeah.
Send that to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he thought he was going to be able to sell it, let alone get what his asking price was.
Did you like friend him or anything? Has he seen it?
No, I haven't shown him. I thought about it. Because like I asked him like, what's your best price shipped, and of course I lowballed him. I was like, well, could you do 150 shipped? Which of course is a no. But I tried. I'm still super happy that I got an APR wing for like $200.
Yeah, it's like a legit. it's like a legit usable, good, like quality wing.
Yep, I'm gonna spend. Yeah, of course the gurney flap's $100, but it is what it is.
Is that just like a piece of metal like it is on the non-lives wing?
No, it's a piece of carbon fiber.
Is it carbon fiber?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it just like sticks.
All right, well, then it's probably worth $100 then.
Yeah, I mean,
how does that attach?
It's just double stick taped, which is really weird to me.
That's enough.
I don't believe it, but that's all.
You would think there'd be some level of pressure built on that like the stick tape wouldn't be good enough. But okay,
that was I thought. So don't be surprised if I rivet mine on. Like I don't know if I trust the double stick tape. Because that's all their gurney flaps on the APR website are just double stick taped on, but I don't know if I believe that. I mean, just a couple dabs of glue. I don't know, man. It doesn't seem like that's enough.
Well, I think that 3M double sided stick tape is shockingly good when correctly applied.
Yeah, and it is the high quality 3M stuff. So
right,
which yeah.
So and I don't know. Maybe it is good enough.
Clean, brand new clear coat. I mean, as long as it's not covered in dust and shit, it should be fine. We'll see. I'll try it and keep an eye on it, and maybe it's more than enough. I don't know.
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah. So save some money, because that's the theme of my life is save that money.
I mean, that's not really. From the outside looking in, I don't think that's how most people would describe it, Robbie.
Can you imagine how expensive
saving money would be not having an all-consuming hobby that returns zero financial investment.
That would be the smart option, yes. But
that being said, as a car guy, you are definitely saving money, and I will defend that for you.
I couldn't. There's no way I could afford to do this and pay retail for everything. There's no way.
No.
Yep. If I can find it used or under retail or on sale on Black Friday, anything I can do to make that budget stretch a little bit.
Yeah, I get it.
But so the wing's ready. I'm gonna put that on the. I'm gonna put that on the Z. It just works. The mounts on the 240 are way on the end. I'd have to cannibalize that wing, weld on new mounts, just to make it work on the Z. And even then, I think it's slightly too wide. So it's just not even worth it. And I think that this will look really good when I'm done with it, and it'll kind of fit perfectly on the Z, because I think the 9 Lives one is like the same width as, maybe it's a little wider than this. On their 350Z kit. Sorry.
It's within GLTC rules or whatever, though.
Yeah, it meets the SCCA spec rule even, for whatever class it was made for. So I mean, it's definitely probably going to be one of the smaller GLTC wings that actually takes points away, because its cord is quite a bit shorter than the 9 Lives, and it's not near as wide as most people's. Because like if you look at Austin Hurdles on his Z, it is dramatically bigger. Because this is only 59.5 inches long. I'm guaranteeing his is closer to 70. And its cord is at least 2 inches longer.
He's just taking the hit because that car is probably a little bit on the porky side, so he can afford a few pounds.
Well, plus he added ballast up to 3,300 pounds. So he's at like the
Jesus.
So yeah, he's at like the heavyweight class with this 370. I've been keeping a close eye on him, and then Dylan Hughes' build just to kind of see how they're doing it, just give an idea for what direction I should go with mine. Not to say that I'm going to be as competitive as either one of them, but just an idea to kind of follow what they do.
Cool.
But
I know you have some Porsche updates too, because I've seen the posts on the interwebs. Let's hear about it.
Hell yeah. So we've been scrambling on the Porsche for the endurance team. We've been working every weekend, it seems. Yeah, basically every weekend last couple months. We've done a shitload of wiring. Well, I guess Eric's done most of the wiring. Then I've helped quite a bit with just kind of being there because it's at my house. So, I mean, I help every weekend. So we got it running last weekend. So it's got the engine in Christmas. Basically have everything assembled in the car. Think, kind of getting things to show up. We got the exhaust. We got, the full everything with the engine, with wiring, and just odds and ends. So like, putting the Lexan glass thing together, the whole bracket. That was like a whole day's worth of work for Nick and Matt. Brakes show up. They showed up yesterday. They're not installed yet, but that'll be installed this weekend by the time this airs. But we were able to get it running last weekend, so this will be the first weekend. Last weekend in February, we let it do its first actual run, and it fired right up on like the first crank, which is a good feeling, especially for having just like a bass tune thrown on the Mega Squirt, and it's not even close to being right, but it still ran pretty well, which is also a good feeling because wiring from scratch, custom made spark plug wires that I made that I wasn't super confident in my own abilities because those are such a pain in the ass.
Such a pain in the ass.
They're so much harder than they need to be.
It's so dumb, isn't it?
And like the wire doesn't fit through the little suction thing. So you had to take like a pliers and like hold it out and then have someone shove the wire through it and then
do they make this like silicone spray?
Yeah, that didn't work either. I by itself it didn't work.
The other thing is to get the boot hot, like soak it in hot water.
Oh, I was just sticking it like I was holding it with a glove inside the oven or in the stove in my shop until my hand got hot. I'm like, okay, it's hot, and then I would then do that.
Nah, dude, you let it sit in hot water for a while.
I mean, I got them. It was fine. But I had like a technique where I would take. I have a pliers that kind of curves up. I know it's a weird image, but
like a needle nose, but it has a curve.
It's like a needle nose, but then it's long and big and it curves up. So I would stick it on there, and then I would like take it and open it and then put it around my knee, and so then it would be just enough open that I could force the wire or the wire through it. Left nice bruises on the side of my knee, but I fucking got it done.
Such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and it took forever. I'm so glad it's not a V8, but it might end up being a V8 someday. But I'm so glad it's only a 4-cylinder for that reason, because it was such a pain.
Yeah, when I had to make the ones on my Omni, it was a real pain in the ass too. And then the crimping process, you're like, is this right? Did I get it? I don't fucking know. I don't like it.
Yep, and then the crimp doesn't line up the way you want, and it kind of like mangles the connector end. So you have to like bend it back open and then crimp it back down again, and then you're not happy with it, and you're convinced it's not quite right. But everything works, so it's like, okay, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm gonna break it if I touch it. Yeah, what a pain. But it works. Everything worked. It ran pretty well. Of course, it's a new engine, so we found that the switch for the coolant, like it's like it comes with like 2 plugs for the coolant, and we only use 1. So the switch for the fans is the OEM switch. That apparently had a nice crack in it, so that was leaking all over the place. Luckily, we can just go get a drain. Just go to the hardware store and get a drain plug and replace it. And, it's a $2 fix, not a big deal. The biggest headache, and this is the one that actually kept me up at night, is that the rear main seal leaks.
Oh no!
And I was the fucking idiot that installed it. So Eric calls. I don't know his last name. He called Chris. It's kind of our Porsche 944 guy, and he called him up and was like, "Hey, we've installed not rear mains before. This is not new. I mean, or it's new. It's brand new seal, brand new engine.
What I do wrong?
Yeah." He goes, "Well, did you sacrifice some chickens and pray to the Porsche gods when you put it in?" I was like, "Well, no, I just installed it like a normal one." "Oh, well, that's your problem." I was like, so you didn't really bat an eye at it. That apparently it's like a super common thing that like because the way the crank sits in the pan, half of the seal sits below the level of the oil. So it's not uncommon for these to leak. He's like, don't jump to any conclusions. Let it get, put a couple heat cycles into it and see if that helps. I'm not buying it. I'm still convinced we're going to have to pull that flywheel off and replace it. But I lost sleep that night going, what the fuck did I do wrong?
That seems like such a simple thing, right?
Yeah, it should be.
Who hasn't put a remain seal in? But
it was leaking. So we'll pray to the Porsche gods and hope that a couple heat cycles is all it takes to kind of seat it. I'm not buying it. It will get lucky. But it's running.
What a pain.
It's running. We got I think we got a tune scheduled for the end of the month, so that'll be ready.
Where?
We are going down to Blue Label Racing in Kansas City. So Jesse Prather is going to do it. Kind of a
cool.
a friend of the group, and he's part of the Mid-Av TT group as well. So,
is that the guy that makes the spec Miata motors?
I don't know about that. I know he's got that. You were at Topeka where he had that really cool Mustang with the LS in it, like an older 60s style. He wasn't actually racing or doing time attack that weekend. He was just hanging out. It was the weekend I spun my bearing.
Okay.
I don't know if you were there for that.
Okay.
One. But yeah, so
no, I wasn't there for that one.
Yeah, so but yeah, he was just hanging out. He's got like a really cool Mustang.
Well, because there's a Jesse Prather Motorsports, and they build like the $10,000 spec Miata motors that make 15 horsepower more than factory.
Am I confusing Blue Label Racing with him? I bet I am. I'm sorry.
I don't know. That just makes me wonder. Because he's kind of like a big name in the Miata world. So.
I think that's his dad. I should know all this shit.
Yeah.
Because I think
they're Miata guys. Who cares?
I'm pretty sure that's his dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because then he's got his, and it might not be Blue Label. Yeah, and I'm like questioning everything I'm thinking about. But anyways, Jesse's the one that's doing our. Eric was the one that made the phone call, so I'm just kind of going along with it.
I think Eric may have had Jesse Prather's motor in it.
I think so.
In his Miata.
That sounds
maybe
right.
Maybe that is the case. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know who's doing it. now that I'm thinking out loud, I should probably double check. Not a problem. But anyways, we got that scheduled, and so that's getting done. Breaks this weekend, and then we got to go back to Booney for a little bit of fab work because there's a lot of like open metal in the rear, and the cage needs a couple bars to be legal. And then Booney was going to make some bash bars and make the like the mounts for the hood. Fender bumper combo thing. So he's going to make like quick attach mounts so that we just like all arrow catch mounts. So that there's just a shitload of work that needs to be done before June. But we're in a good spot, the fact that it runs.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm glad it runs.
Yeah,
it's been a long time coming because they've had that long before you were a part of it.
Yes.
So.
Yep. No.
Cool.
Yep. I think the first we were talking about doing a shakedown here, hopefully in April. Kind of figure out what everything else that's wrong with it, and then May kind of use that month to get it ready for the race in June.
Has Mayhem kind of talked about their test and tune open track schedule?
I haven't seen anything posted, but I also am not on Facebook very often. So Bill called last week, and it sounds like there's a test day that we're doing on April 12th with the C8. So I want to say JB's going out too with some of his stuff. I'm not sure if I'll be able to bring any of my other cars. Because if the Z's ready, I'd like to take that. If it's not track worthy at the time, I probably won't take anything. Just drive the C8 and get some practice laps in. But I assume they're doing the same thing they've been doing, where you can rent the track with a group for like next to nothing. So you can get an entire.
It's very reasonable.
I think if you have a small group, it's like $600 a day, And then if you can get like 10 cars for $1,000 or something, and the prices may have changed.
Yeah, you can only have so many cars on track at a time and stuff like that too, because they have minimal like they don't have any flaggers and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's strictly a
That's
test.
how they keep the price down.
Yeah, it's strictly a test day, so you can have 2 cars on track at a time, no passing, no racing. Yeah, it's literally a test. So in order to like not have to do all the safety workers and like emergency crews or this, like event insurance type stuff. Yeah, it's just 1 or 2 cars on track, burning down laps, shaking cars down, and then if you get yourself in trouble and go off track or have issues, you got to kind of have somebody come wave down the guy and be like, "Hey, you want to help us go get that guy?" But it's super low key. When we did it last year, you had 4 or 5 of us out there, and we just took turns. And when there's only a few of you out there and you have 8 hours of track time, there's plenty of track time. You're never fighting to get out there. And if someone has any sort of like issue they're working through, once they get it ready, you just jump back on track. So I think it's super, super critical to do that with a new car, and it's awesome that it's available at RPM.
Yeah. So I think that kind of was one of those things that's like saves the track.
Yes.
So that's important too.
Yeah, because I don't know. I hope they kind of keep it that way. Like even when things are running back to normal, like have the weekends where you got your events going on, and like your Fast Fridays and stuff like that, and your Motorcycle Mondays. But I would hope that like they can do more of these. Rent the track at a reasonable price for test days.
Yeah,
I assume it was probably always available. It just wasn't as advertised as it is now. But
yeah.
So yeah, definitely gonna get out to RPM a couple times this year. It looks like getting some, hopefully, shakedown of the Z right away in April. But I don't know if I'll be quite that lucky.
Cool.
Yep. And then the Z is farther along over at Booney's. I've been able to bother him enough that he's been working on this at nights with me. So I've been swinging over there after work every day and then just getting more stuff done. It's nice having other 350Zs and 370Zs do cages at the same time. So I'm sitting there watching like Austin Hurdle or Chris Forsberg on Instagram, kind of like zooming in on pictures, like, okay, what they do here. So yeah, we're working on the A-pillar bars this week and just kind of getting as perfect as we possibly can. So we were fighting with that yesterday. And I mean, yes, we just kind of realized that in order to do what we wanted, we kind of had to like cut out all that extra metal, all the seams and stuff, where a lot of people just left it and let the bars just be where they were. I just felt like they were so freaking close to my head that I didn't really want that. So yeah, we're kind of, getting everything cut out as far as we possibly can to get the cage as safe as we possibly can and fit as well. So it's going to be really nice when it's done, but getting there has been kind of a pain in the ass. So I appreciate Booney's patience or lack thereof with me just, no, let's try this. No, let's try this. We can make this. Like, actually, he's as much of a perfectionist as I am, and I know he wants it to look really good. So there's no doubt in my mind that I could have just left him and let him do it by himself, and it'd be perfect. So it's cool that we're just kind of working through it. But,
yeah,
I learned real fast why everyone takes their windshields out when they do cages.
Yeah, I'm sure that there's a reason behind that.
So if anyone has a 350Z windshield they're looking to get rid of, no, that windshield is clearly left in for a lot of projects over its lifetime. It was very sandblasted and beat up, and I said, if this windshield comes out, it's not going back in. So I just left it, and I was like, well, if we can get through this cage and it's not broken, great. It's a little longer life I can get out of it. That didn't last very long. So we cracked the windshield yesterday while we were working on it, which is fine. I mean, that windshield needed to be replaced probably before last year even. It was just, like, you could be driving, and then, like, if the sun's off in the sunset and you turn into it, all of a sudden it's like you're blinded because it's just reflecting off all the small chips and whatnot. Like it just looked like it was sandblasted in a few spots, and you just couldn't clean it up. So it was long overdue. I'm not losing any sleep over. I mean, granted, I'm going to give Booney a really hard time for ruining my windshield, and It's going to come out of the cost of the cage, of course.
As you should.
Because he was the one that broke it first.
What a jerk.
I just continued to make it worse as I worked on the other side.
Well, I mean, at that point, what's it matter?
Yeah, it's already broken. Right? Yeah. Now his crack went from the top to the bottom. Mine only stayed in the top, but mine had more spider webs to it. Oh well, it's a race car, and that windshield is not. If I get an OEM one, it's very expensive, but looks like I can get a not OEM one for not a lot of money.
If you just got the roof off, you don't need a windshield, Robbie.
Is there windshield requirements in GLTC?
I don't know. I've never read the GLTC rules.
I don't remember there being a rule saying that it had to have a windshield. I could have a visor.
There you go. I'm sure that if somebody showed up in some old school E-Prod, bug-eyed Sprite with no windshield, Jabbay's not going to turn them down. I'm sure that is not in there for a reason.
Yeah, we got to find a way to make this safe enough. But
all you have to do is make sure when you roll over, you don't die.
That's what the cage is for. And then right. I got the visor.
So just
the rocket
cut the rest. You know how much easier it would be to make a cage if you didn't have a top?
Yeah, the Porsche is that way. It's got this ridiculously huge sunroof. So the whole thing's just gone. And it's super easy to do a cage in a 944 because the whole roof is the sunroof. It's unbelievable.
Then you just patch some sheet metal back in around it when you're done?
Nah, carbon fiber.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Booney and Jordan are experimenting with carbon fiber. So
yeah, I knew that.
I was like, well, how about you guys try and make this sunroof delete out of carbon fiber? And I think they're planning on doing that. And I think if they get a good mold that they like, they're going to start selling them, which would be cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah,
they're just doing all kinds of things over there at Factory Fabrication, aren't they?
They really are. And then
composites, metalworking, woodworking,
race car roll cages. It's
just needs to chill out, man.
Yeah, he's a busy man.
You know what he really needs? He needs a metal 3D printer and an engineer to run it,
or just an engineer to design shit. And then we can build it together. That'd be great.
$35,000 a year, Robbie. You're hired.
Can I at least get some profit sharing at that point? Oh god.
So,
but yeah,
is that it?
Yeah, I've just been busy, and I don't have. Yeah, so it's not a lot of glamorous things to talk about. It's just been a lot of busy work. It seems just chipping away at things.
The wing thing is cool. That was interesting to me. That it was as what looked at least it looked on your article to be a relatively simple thing for you to accomplish. Certainly worth the time invested.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. I mean,
I bet you there's a lot. Well, I don't know about a lot, but I would imagine that that wing exists more than you'd think.
Yeah, it's a pretty common
maybe
wing.
That's a viable option. People just never really looked at it as such.
Well, I know at least one person reached out and made a comment. They're like, they were happy that I made the article because they have a trunk that's kind of doing the same thing. And, I mean, I know a lot of people look at it like, well, shit, I'm out of luck. Because even with the Sebin hood, a lot of people were saying right off the bat, first thing you need to do is put a vinyl bra on it.
The clear vinyl stuff.
So you gotta do something to protect it, otherwise it's gonna look like shit. And yeah, I see. But I don't think a lot of people are doing that with wings, and I assume most smaller carbon fiber bits aren't getting protected. So yeah, I think you got to be kind of gentle with your carbon fiber clear coat compared to a car. But it's really not that difficult to fix. At least fix it well enough.
Yeah.
So now I got to start. That's what my Facebook Marketplace is going to be from now on, is super cheap carbon fiber bits that people are just trying to get rid of. I'm like, I'll take that, fix it, sell it.
Speaking of super cheap carbon fiber bits, if you search on eBay carbon fiber and NASCAR together,
yup,
So cheap, Robbie. You can get like sweet brake ducts and radiator ducting pieces and all kinds of crazy stuff that you just hack it up a little bit and figure out how to make it fit on your car.
There's a good chance I'm actually going to do the brake duct thing.
So cheap.
I could get a carbon fiber used NASCAR one cheaper than I could get a plastic one.
Yeah.
So like I do need to find, like I have those brake ducts that I got a couple months ago, and I need to find a way to run them through that bumper, and so it'd be nice to just kind of hack that up with the NASCAR carbon fiber bit and rivet it in place.
Boom.
Yep. So that's
carbon fiber things.
Carbon fiber everything, man.
Hell yeah.
That's it, man. It's just been a lot of things, busier than ever it seems. But I want to thank James for letting me post on his page. I found a couple articles that kind of talked about it, and like one was pretty good and kind of walked through it. I'm like, well, this is kind of perfect and matches what James is doing on his site. So I'm just gonna make him let me post it.
Well, you did kind of call him out for a lack of content as of late.
Well, he has been busy. I will give him that.
And so then when you do that, what ends up happening is like, well, fuck you, Robbie Veerhout. You can post shit too.
I will.
So,
but not this. I thought it fit really well with his website, and doesn't really fit with what we do with our website. So it was a kind of a cool opportunity. Yeah. And this is kind of like what the shit I do at work, where I set up sheets and whatnot.
Right.
It's interesting. I liked it. I'm happy with my results. Be really excited to see it on the car. Hopefully, I don't hate it.
I doubt that'll be the case, Robbie. It's carbon fiber.
That's true. I love it.
So, should we talk about Petrolbox real quick, and then dive into the news?
Well, we talked about our Petrolbox shirts.
Our Petrolbox shirts,
which we got in our Petrolbox that we get every month. If you want your Petrolbox, either with your cool racing shirt or other goodies. I was wearing my mechanics gloves today when I was working on the Z, because I had forgot them the day before, and I had to borrow some welding gloves. That's all they had, because I was cutting some stuff, and then I was kind of like wiggling it with my hand, and then Booney's friend or coworker came running over and said, no, you're going to cut your hand. And he handed me some gloves, and he was right, because I would have really bad probably. But
your soft engineer hands?
No, it's because I just ground these pieces of metal, and then I was like shaking it to get that last little bit off of detached. And he's been in that scenario where he slipped before, and then 9 stitches later, I've done it too, and yet I always go back and have to learn the hard way multiple times. But luckily he had gloves, and today I remembered my Grease Monkey gloves that I got from my Petrolbox. Use them today all day. But yeah, if you want your Petrolbox, or to pick and choose what Petrolbox items you want, go to mypetrolbox.com and use the code TTP15 for 15% off. You can get 50% off your first box, which is a pretty good value, I'd say, right there. I think it's about as good of a value as you can get when it comes to a trial box. And then if you want to just buy specific stuff like Eagle Grit or other cleaning car care products, there's a lot of Adams polishes and Petrolbox polishes. They have their own, as well as Jack's Wax. All that stuff's like super discounted to begin with, and then you get 15% more off. I know a handful of you have already taken advantage of it, and you're not going to get this stuff any cheaper. I mean, plain and simple. And you're supporting our friends.
Now he has the dog leashes.
That's right.
And collars. So he's got automotive themed pet accessories.
Yep, Yancey is wearing the R32 dog collar, and Kyle is wearing the carbon fiber dog collar. And then we have
the R32 one is the HKS colors livery, if you will.
Yep.
My dog has the Gulf one,
the GT40.
Yes. I'm sure that the Subaru one will be very popular.
As it should. It's a cool color combination. Like even if you're not a Subaru, the blue and yellow will look really good as a collar.
Yep.
And then they have the leashes to match as well, so we got those. Haven't had a chance to use them yet, being as it's just finally getting nice enough to go for a walk, so we need to do that.
pro tip, don't put them on your cats.
Yeah, don't do that.
I didn't know that was a thing. I learned this from John, that apparently cat collars are very specific because they're designed to easily break away so that your cat doesn't hang itself, which is terrible, and I don't like to think about that.
Yeah, apparently that's a common thing with cats.
My cats don't have collars to begin with, but now if I ever did decide to put one on there, I know better.
But yeah, so these are dog collars.
Very specifically dog collars.
Petrobox labeled, automotive
Petrol
themed.
pup.
Petrol pup.
Yeah,
That's right. I knew that. But they're actually they're not like crazy marked up. It's like a $15 dog collar. That's like not expensive.
No, it's not, and it was good quality.
Well, then a $15 leash is really not expensive either. Like super cheap.
No.
And you get 50% off. Like, what more do you want?
Look at that.
Do you have a dog? We have collars. The cheapest collars. The best, cheapest collars. 15% off. TTP 15. All right.
So, first up in the news, brought to you by ApexPro, mobile EV charging on its way. Mostly, I think the name is funny. It's called the Roadie, which is not what I think of when I think of
no. If anyone's talking
EV
about
charging,
no, if they're talking about a Roadie, they're talking about their Bud Light, their Busch Light that they're drinking on their way home from work.
Well, there's that, or like the guy that sets up the guitars and stuff like that for a touring band.
Yep. So the business model is that it's like a subscription service. So somebody wants to be like their own boss. So what they do is they would buy these basically battery packs on wheels, and then they would go and charge your electrical vehicle while you are at work, at the store, getting your nails done, doing things like, I don't know. But they
talk about it like it's a gig, like Uber with your personal vehicle, or Grubhub, or something. They talk about it like it's one of those like side hustle things that you can do.
Yep. But
it's very expensive to charge. It's about 50 cents a mile, which is really expensive.
No, that'd just be for them to get to you.
No, the charge costs roughly 50 cents a mile.
No, then they said that it was like $10 to actually charge the car.
Right, so you can get a significant enough charge for as little as $10.
Yeah, so I think it, like, let's say that they're 5 miles away, they would only cost $10 for them to drive to you, and then it would be $10 to charge. Kind of like,
I guess that's not how I read that.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm pretty sure, because like that's how Grubhub is. You know what I mean? Like if I order Grubhub here,
right,
they'll go get it, but it's going to cost me a shitload of money because it's a 10-mile drive. But but I don't understand is I only would use this is if my electric vehicle ran out of charge. I wouldn't drive to work, pay someone to come charge my vehicle, and then leave. But
right, and you're only going to charge them enough that you can get to a real charger.
Yeah. So I don't understand.
So the very first comment down here, this guy says that, through a bunch of mumbo jumbo that doesn't matter. Essentially what it boils down to is he pays 11 cents per kilowatt. So 98 cents for for 30 miles of charge.
Right.
Versus 50 cents per mile of charge. So this is not a good deal.
No. And that's why I would never look at this as a subscription service or like a way to actually do things. The only way I would ever use this is if I ran out of charge. Like this is something you would put on the highway helper.
Right.
And then this would be, instead of a can of gas, they would have this to charge the electric vehicles that ran out of charge.
Right. I see this as like something you attach to your tow truck.
Yes.
You know.
The way they sold it as a business idea made no sense to me because
I don't think it's going to work.
They're implying that people are driving their electric vehicles to a point where they're out of charge and need a charge away from home regularly. That's like assuming that I want to have my car gassed up while I'm at work every day. No, I'm just going to go until I need gas. I'm not going to pay you to come fill it, because that'd be a business already, because there's way more cars that need gas that would already have been a business. No, we just go to the gas station, or you just drive home with your electric vehicle. You just go home and you charge it.
Well,
every day.
Lots of people. There are a lot of idiots out there that run out of gas,
right? But you couldn't,
and it's not as easy as grabbing a gas can and pouring some gas in there. You're going to have some way of doing this, but that's not a business model.
No, this is something you add to a service you're already
existing
doing.
Business.
Yeah, like a tow truck or a highway helper or
right.
Yes, yeah, something. It doesn't make sense to me that someone's going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to wait until someone or drive around all day charging electric vehicles in parking lots. I don't think there's going to be a demand for that. That seems really strange to me.
No, and most of the comments in here that came from people who own EVs said that exact thing.
Yeah, you're implying
I'm not going to do this. This is a worst case scenario situation I would only use to get enough charge to get to a charging station if I ran out.
Right.
That's almost every single person who commented on here said something about that. The only other comments that were in here were people talking about how stupid gig economies are, because they talk about this as being the next wave of our gig economy.
Yeah. No,
this is a terrible term.
It is.
And it is really stupid.
Yeah, this one I don't see this one taken up. I like the concept itself as a tool. I'm on board with. As a business, absolutely not. It makes no sense.
Right.
Yeah, I could see the person making these selling them to businesses, but as a side hustle, as somebody's job, no way.
No, I agree. So, Porsche 911 GT3 had a 70% take rate of manuals in the U.S.
Because everyone knows that Porsche drivers are all about the best experience. Ask me. I know. I'm a Porsche owner.
God, here we go.
I guess I can't say I'm a Porsche driver. I've literally never drove it.
Co-owner.
But ours is a manual. But yes, 70% of the 911 GT3 owners bought manual transmission cars because it was a better driving experience than the faster PDK, which is kind of really awesome.
Yeah. So I think the thing is that like all other versions of the 911 still had better take rates of the PDK.
Yeah.
And this is a car that a majority of people are buying as an investment opportunity. And historically, these cars have sold better with manual transmissions. And so I really don't think that this is a case of people buying these for the enjoyment of the manual transmission so much as thinking that it's worth more because they bought it that way. And because more than 50% of them are this way, it probably means PDKs are going to end up worth more in the future.
Yeah, for this one, yeah.
Because that's how things go.
Yeah, because it's dramatically opposite of everything else, because all the other ones are like a complete flip. So like, 70% are PDKs or more. And then like not just Porsches, but like in general, there's way less manual transmissions being sold. But it's kind of an anomaly that 70% of these were sold as manuals.
So the global take rate of manual GT3s was 30%, and non-GT3 911s, the take rate is 20 to 25%. So a remarkable difference.
It still kind of surprises me that on a sports car that the manual transmission is that few.
Yeah.
But I know that I guess I'm the minority when it comes to seeing a sports car and wanting just a plain 6-speed transmission or 5-speed transmission and not a bunch of bells and whistles. And I know that once you get to like a $100,000 car, the bells and whistles kind of come with it, and it's not the same as like a 944 or the Miata or 350Z or something in my price bracket.
Yeah, or like even like looking at a Boxster or a Cayman,
right?
Those I could see being higher take rates as manuals because those are the cheaper cars. But like, that's not necessarily how it is. They talk about other take rates for manual cars, and this is really interesting to me for some reason. They say Subaru WRX, 90% of buyers chose manuals.
That is a group of people that stick to the manual. I mean,
I struggle to believe that.
If it's just a WRX, I don't know a lot of automatic transmission WRXs. It's
That's
all manual.
wild.
Now, if we start talking,
Miata only 76%, which I thought was shockingly low.
still pretty high though.
Yeah, but I would have said that would have been 90.
That's another car that I never see that with an auto.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Golf R and GTI buyers, 44%.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
JCW minis, so like the John Cooper Works, which is the most hardcore, badass, fast mini that you can buy, 41%.
Huh.
BRZs, 78%, but Toyota 86s, only 33%,
Oh, weird.
which was wild to me.
That
Which really shows, so like BRZs, a Subaru, 78%, WRXs, a Subaru, 90%.
yeah, I mean that group.
Kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think if you want a Subaru and you don't want a manual transmission, you're the type of person that doesn't want those. A car. You want the Outback or
Right.
the other style of cars.
Yeah.
Or the what's the other little SUV thing? The Ascent. Is that right?
Crosstrek, the
Yeah,
Ascent.
the Crosstrek. That's what I was thinking of.
There is an Ascent as well.
I would much rather have Jess in a Crosstrek than the Edge. I'm legitimately pushing her that way.
You need a Flex, Robbie.
No, God.
Hell yeah.
No, so I can have the same Microsoft bullshit in the car? No, thank you.
I wish Don was here. He's all about his Flex.
No, he's all about his Ridgeline. We can
No, dude, that's what I assume too, is that the Ridgeline was his and the Flex was hers. That's not true.
See, he always likes to shit
The
on me.
Ridgeline is her daily,
Good for her.
and the Flex is his.
That's awesome.
So
No, he likes to always mess with me and say he likes to tell me his Ridgeline is a real truck.
well, yeah, because he knows that it's not.
Yeah.
And so now it's funny.
But yeah, he'll be on in a couple weeks we can resurrect that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's cool. 70%. Save the manuals.
Definitely. Manual transmissions for everybody.
So, I have a funny Subaru story before we move on.
Please tell.
So, this last weekend that we just got out of, I went to my parents' house because my little sister, or my younger sister, she's not my little sister. I gotta stop saying that. She's like 30 years old now. She's not my little sister anymore. My younger sister and her husband and their two kids were up here from North Carolina. And my nephew and my son share a birthday, but 2 years apart. So my son's turning 5 and he's turning 3 here a little bit later this month. But we celebrated the birthdays with the family last weekend. So now that my parents live in Missouri, they've kind of reconnected with some of their old friends from Kansas because they're not that far away from them anymore. And so these are people who are like I knew, or who are like really close with my parents when I was like, basically my son's age. And so they're people who I've known through my entire life, but so one of them, he used to be a big muscle car drag racing guy with my dad. Now they live down in Arkansas, and he's kind of gotten into the Subaru thing. And he actually listens to the show, so he knows my feelings about Subarus. And so what did he do? He has a bug-eyed WRX, right?
Of course.
So he bought a shirt. I think he may even had them custom made. It is a shirt that has a picture of a bug eye, and it says Subaru on it. And he bought that for my son. and then he got a matching one as well. And they gave that to my son for his birthday present.
Oh, that's so
and
good.
Then when he opened it up, he had, oh, you want to try it on? And so he's all excited about it, right? And so of course Logan's like, yeah, I love this shirt. I got to try it on, right? And so he puts it on. And so the rest of the day they're strutting around the house, both wearing their matching Subaru t-shirts, endlessly annoying me. And I don't think Kevin could have been any more proud of himself.
That's so good. That's so
So
good.
annoying.
Well, my dad does that too because he bought an Outback and he loves it. So he likes to tell me that.
Gross.
He tells me that Subaru is the way to go now. Because I mean, he travels hundreds of miles a day, and it's a wonderful vehicle for that.
He's drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, he has, and he bought it, and he's like, okay, I see why everyone that buys a Subaru buys only Subarus, and now he's like, Outback to a new Outback to it's just Subaru, but I can't really blame him because it's a nice vehicle, and then I'll drive the Edge to my parents' house, and then we'll take that just for whatever reason. And it's like, okay. How do you feel about this vehicle, Jess? Because your Edge is awful.
That's one of those cars that really, really has been ruined by the general ownership population around us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can't say anything. I got a Z and a 240, so it's all the same.
Well, yeah, I have an S10 and a Cavalier, Robbie.
Yeah, they're the worst owner groups.
Trailer trash. Own my cars.
No, I got like Hot Boys.
No, I have trailer trash on my cars.
Drifty boys own
weirdo high schooler kids that put stacks on their 4-cylinder S10s. Like, that's who owns my car. So,
oh god,
I don't even want to talk about it.
No, I don't. 350Z owners are the worst. Just look at me.
Yeah. Last up, Ferrari joins a handful of other auto manufacturers in the new Le Mans hypercar class.
Dude, I'm so happy.
This class is really shaping up to be a thing.
This is going to be so good. This is the right direction.
The hypercar class is what's replacing LMP1. I think it debuts in next year, doesn't it?
2023.
2022?
No, 2023.
I know that Ferrari's joining in 23, but I feel like it's not.
I feel
like it was coming soon.
I thought I might have been mistaken. Is it next year? Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think the Ferrari thing is what's throwing me off 1 year.
Yeah, Ferrari is definitely coming in 23.
Yeah.
But I feel like the class is starting next year, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Either way, Toyota, Peugeot, Porsche, and Audi are the major manufacturers that have entered. There's Scuderia Cameron Glickenhaus.
That's going to be so good.
Which they make the dopest of cars.
Yep.
They're a small boutique manufacturer, if you will.
In the States.
They make really cool looking car. I love that little thing. I've been following that for a while. They've raced that at the 24 Hours of Nürburgring a handful of times. And you can buy a road car version of that you take the road car engine out and you put the race car engine in and you go racing. I think that at one point they drove it from England to the Nürburgring, swapped motors, and ran the 24.
That's wild.
So it's quite a car. It's a very impressive thing. They also make some off-roady stuff. Apparently they went and competed in Baja this year, and I think maybe even won over a Ford-backed entry. So they're doing some crazy things over there at SCG.
Yep, and then their hypercar that they're building for next year actually looks like a car, which is super cool. I know that was kind of the goal. But Toyota came out with just kind of a dialed back version of their DPI car. You're like, that wasn't the point, Toyota.
It looks almost exactly like their current LMP1 car.
Yep, they just kind of changed it a little bit and dialed it back to.
Which I don't know how I feel about that, because part of me is like, that's pretty cool too, because they're gonna make road versions of these.
Yep,
and that's gonna be dope.
That's fair. If once Toyota starts making them as a road vehicle, then okay, that's perfectly fine. We can buy this now. But I do want to see them more look like cars again. I think that's cool. But I love the prototype cars. I think they look better than Formula One cars. There, I fucking said it.
Oh God, Robbie, you have no idea how happy I am that you said that.
Dude, the LMP1 cars look way better than a Formula One car.
Oh, thank you.
It's not even close.
I'll say it. LMP1 was the pinnacle of racing a few years ago.
You mean right now? It's
kind of tapered off because there's only one manufacturer in it anymore.
That's fair.
But when it was Toyota and Audi and Porsche
and Cadillac
was never an LMP1 car. like a Le Mans element.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But those three were like running for Le Mans supremacy. That was as good as it got, man. Those were the pinnacle of race cars. I don't care if they're slower than Formula One cars. Those are the pinnacle of racing.
I'm not going to fight you. I completely agree.
So
I don't care who I offend.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to see Ferrari back at Le Mans. I'm excited to see them competing in the top class. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, and they haven't been part of the top class. I didn't realize that since 1973. They've always been the not really lower class, but yeah, it's more street focused cars,
in the GT classes.
Yep.
They have not won outright since 1965.
So they haven't won since Ford beat them.
Yep.
Damn.
Ferrari has won Le Mans 9 times outright, but not since 1965 when it fought a famed battle with Ford.
Yep. Huh. I did not realize that was the last time.
Yeah, that's surprising to me too.
Yeah, because I figured once Ford left, they would have took back the top spot and then eventually would have switched down to this.
After Ford left was when things really started to get wild and it was harder to win with a car.
Yeah.
And they haven't really had a prototype for a long, well, I guess they've had a few here and there, but it's been a while.
No, this is good. This is good for the sport to have a Ferrari in like the top spot or like, all these manufacturers and stuff chasing after the first overall.
What I find interesting is they said Ferrari has been looking for other activities with which to redeploy staff as Formula One budget cap takes effect, and so they're forced to slim down their team. So they have extra money burning a hole in their pocket, and they want to go racing with it. So this seems like the next best step. So that's kind of interesting to me, that's what's happening because Formula One has introduced a tighter budget cap.
Yep. No, it's awesome that Ferrari's staying true to themselves because a lot of companies just say, that's just more money in our pockets. We'll just get rid of all smaller staff, more money for the executives, whatever. And then Ferrari goes, more money for racing. We don't really care about anything else. Racing.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That couldn't have worked out any better.
I agree. So, should we shut her down, Robbie?
No. If you feel like improving your racing, ApexPro, ApexTrackCoach.com. We've been pimping this stuff for a long time because we believe in it. We believe in Andrew and the product he is selling. So, ApexTrackCoach.com. If you want yours, use the code TenTenths, get a free window mount. I got the OBD2 data interface. I'm pretty excited to use that with my Z. And then obviously I've been using the data unit for quite some time. Then Lap Timer Plus and video recording. Man, they got it all. I mean, if you want to just have the app and have all your lap times and data right there at your fingertips immediately, no screwing around on your laptop like you would with other softwares. This is all on the app, and it's super easy to work with. And there's a great support system with ApexPro if you want to just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm curious about this. And then whether it's somebody officially from ApexPro or somebody from the Apex data group on Facebook, it's super inclusive and helpful. So if you're trying to learn data and get better as a driver, ApexPro is our suggestion of way to go. It's ApexTrackCoach.com. I think that's it for me, man. I don't know. I got stuff to do on cars, and while I'm daydreaming about skating.
Race season's back again, Robbie. I'm going to a race this weekend.
I hope it's as
excited.
I hope Forsberg texts me back. I just want to buy his wheels. I assume I waited too long because someone that popular posts like, "Hey, I'm selling these old track wheels," and then I wait an hour to message him. It's already gone. It's no way it's still there. But it'd be cool if I could have him bring that to code and then you guys bring it back to me, and I literally have to do nothing but send an app of money. That's the dream.
Yeah. We can try. We'll see if we can get him to fit. Worst case scenario, we stick him in the Civic, and Jabay brings him back.
Yeah, I'll.
Excuse me.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I know when you got like 1 million followers, it's kind of hard to keep up. So, hey, maybe I could have some cool wheels, and then Jabay can't tell me that my wheels are trash all the time anymore. I don't think he actually.
I mean, he still will.
I mean, yeah, it
Because
doesn't.
they're not 3 spokes.
Yeah, and they're not brand new. He's like, oh, you got somebody else's throwaway wheels. So now they're yours. Well, yeah, because I'm on a budget, man. Shoestring budget.
Drifty Boy wheels are all
That's
beat up.
I've been running Drifty Boy wheels that are all beat up on the 240 for years. It works out fine. I'm all about saving that money.
Ugh.
Dude, when we were working on the
I'm
Porsche.
hitting a sneezing marathon. We need to shut her down.
Okay, I was going to tell one more story. But we were working on the Porsche, and
All right, go ahead.
Little Dickie's Save That Money song is on my playlist, and it kept popping up. I think it played like 2 or 3 times throughout the day. And Eric had never heard it before. I'm like, dude, this is my theme song. Because it's an entire rap song about saving money. I'm like, yep, that's me right here.
That's not really what rap is about.
No, he's a comedian, so like the whole point is that it's rapping like a popular rap song, and then he's just the whole song is about saving money. And then the music video, he tried to make it as cheaply as possible, but he wanted to look like a big time like music video. So he's like borrowing, a friend of a friend's mansion and their yacht. So it's making it look like he's a big deal when, of course, it didn't cost him a penny. I get that, man. That's my life. I'm all about that. I'm all about saving that money.
Oh, Robbie.
There are deals to be had,
My
Adam.
Duchess of friends.
Yep. $30 for a shirt? No way. That's way too expensive.
Word.
Okay, we can shut this down now that I told my cheapo story. This is a short show.
All right.
How about that?
Good.
We'll catch everybody else next week after you get back from Super Lap Battle.
Woo.
See you.